All right, Greg, we're back. This is episode number 3 at your little, what do we call this? The bunker?
The bunker.
Yeah, so it's great to be back, and it's great that we have survived up to week 3 now of our little podcast here of just the power of the mind with our mindset coach, which is Greg Jealous here, and myself being Willie from Amakuta Coaching, and that is around the physical side of it. So we're just mixing the physical training with the mind training, but we're going a bit deeper and going into purpose and many other things. But today's subject that we wanted to speak about was the power of giving back. And do you want to start us off with this, Greg? What does that mean to anyone out there, like the power of giving back?
Yeah. Well, when it comes to the mindset about giving back, well, it's rewarding. Yeah. So the mind. Let's face it. At the end of the day, we're all here. We're a community, right? And we function a lot better when we're in a community. And also when you get into understanding the mind, which is really about energy, and it's very much in your field, Willie, is more energy together. It actually it forms a lot stronger commitment and really a community. So yeah, giving back to the community, it's great to give for yourself, but it's a lot better when you can give and help others. And for me and my mindset side of it, that's what I really love about it, is not only have I learned a lot about myself through understanding the mind, but when I can actually help others to understand how their mind works, everything just grows. And the big thing, my mission is really about growing awareness and bringing that awareness stronger to the world. So the more people that become aware, then all of a sudden that awareness, people become more aware of, they can be 100% accountable to themselves, but you put that in a community of people that are aware, then that whole awareness lifts, and you've got a lot of people that take more responsible, and a community that's more responsible for what's going on, rather than being dictated to.
Yeah, because I've noticed that in the community, Greg Jealous, he's already created a mindset group that we've been a part of probably a good 3 months now, I'm guessing. Would that be 3 months or even longer now? It'd be a lot longer.
Way before Christmas it was.
Yeah, so it was before Christmas, and Greg started this mindset mastermind group, and we're just a group of different businesses, organizations, or people in the community. He's brought us together, and it's not just around creating a mastermind group. It's about having that community, having that connection. It's a healthy space where we're there to work together for each other, and we're all giving back to each other in different ways. And by Greg pulling this group together at the start, it's like, oh yeah, can I actually give up my personal time to be able to be doing this? I could be out working, and this will be taking me away from my earnings and my money. But it's not about the earnings, it's about the learnings. And that's what I've really noticed with our mastermind group that Greg has been. We're 5 of us. And so we've got a real estate, we've got an insurance broker, we've got a graphic designer, we've got the mindset coach, and then we've got the physical coach here. And it's amazing just having that little mastermind group and getting Greg's mindset into that group to help us out. We connect better, we will look out for each other differently. It might be just about what's been going on in your world, what's your wants and your needs that we always go through each week. We all have a turn each. I better let Greg talk, because this is Greg's wheelhouse and this is his mastermind group that he's created for us. But it's about giving back, and this is something that you did create for us. And at the start I thought, do I really need this? Do I have the time for this? But man, it's just amazing, the ideas, the energy that he was just talking about, that this group has created. And it is life-changing. Those moments there when you're giving back and looking out for others, and not just about what's in it for me, but what can we do for each other. So do you want to maybe go a little bit more?
Well, the big thing is what happens in a group and in a community is when you're coming at from the mindset, like this group that we have is everybody's operating. For instance, this group that we're in is a business group. And it's about how do they want to provide a service, which is what business is all about at the end of the day, is how can my business provide a service to my clients? in a better way. And when you look at it through the mindset, when you understand how we operate and what the mind's is actually going to do, and that paradigm we talk about, that old belief system, it's amazing when you're not aware of what's happening, how you can hear a business discussion talk or even personal discussions talk where they don't realize that their paradigm is interfering with it. Right? That belief system is actually cutting them short. So in business, what's that all about? Well, it's about the results. You're not going to get the results that you want. It's about when you're in community and that, how can you help more and give more? Well, you've got to understand is, are you operating at your best? If you're operating behind this program, sometimes it holds you back. You're not actually contributing it as much as you would like to, and you don't understand why it's not happening. It's because your paradigm, this belief system, is hooked up into your system and is cutting you short. So our mindset group, I get to see that a lot when I hear people we're talking about. Everybody gets their chance to talk about their business or what their wants and what their needs are. And it's quite easy to see what's actually cutting it off, why it's not performing, what's not happening. So for me to hear that, then I know when to step in to just help say, well, okay, do you realize this is happening? Because a lot of all these paradigms that we're talking about, they're subconscious, they're unconscious. Yep. We're not aware of them. So, that's 95% of operating of our results and everything that's happening in our life is subconscious. Only 5%, this voice that you can hear, see, smell, taste, and touch, these things that we all think is us, is only 5%. So we're not aware of what's operating. So with groups and when you're around people, you can see what's happening and you can help people actually understand that. And that's like you, Willie, what you're saying there is the benefits you get at it is because you get shown how to become aware of what you're actually saying or what you're trying to do, and then realize, I didn't realize I was stopping myself moving forward in something there now that you've mentioned it, because it's happening unconscious. And it's always easy. That's a great thing about a community is It's always good to see it from the outside, because we don't see that how we're operating. A good example I show with this quite often is, how many times have you heard somebody say, you're in a group of maybe people, and somebody in the group will say, that know the parents of that person, and they'll say, man, you're just like your father, or you're just like your mother. And the person turns around and they look and say, what? I'm absolutely nothing like them. How can you say that? And everybody else in the group just bursts out laughing because they know your parents and they know you. They can see it. They can see what you can't see. And so many times, I just hearing that, I would imagine it'd be nearly everybody that's ever hears that would have experienced that somewhere, if not themselves, in their lives. And that's really where that mindset really comes in, and understanding how you're operating.
Yeah, because I've noticed within our meetings that we do have this mindset group, we catch up every Tuesday, sort of 11:30 to 12:30 in the morning, coming up to lunchtime. And it's about that awareness, like you just said, Greg. Like sometimes naturally we think that we're doing the right thing, and sorry, I'm not going to be able to make the meeting this week, Greg. And you bring that awareness to us immediately. It's like, so there's something else that's more important right now than being with the group and looking after yourself, looking after your business, looking after your health, looking after your mindset. And you do catch us out, and we try to come up with excuses, and it is excuses half the time. I mean, we do have genuine reasons. Sometimes you just do have an appointment that you choose to go to. But having that awareness, mate, you've really made me think differently. I've thought I've always been a very positive mindset person, which I am, and I still continue to be. But it's amazing how our paradigms and what we've always had beliefs in, it does stick in the back of our minds, and it does take control. And before you know it, you're thinking of reasons to not be somewhere, but it is your subconscious taking control. So I appreciate it, and it's taken me quite a few years to. I've known Greg 3 years now, probably. And it's taken me a long time to finally come back, and you still catch me out. Doesn't matter how much practice I get, how much mindset, the paradigm just wants to slip back into auto play, I guess. And it's very easily to just get into our comfort zones. And but if we're very comfy, we're probably not growing, we're probably not moving, or we're probably not getting as much success as what we're wanting. And success is very different. But back to this topic, it's about the power of giving. And for me personally, I've had communities, I've had people within our communities here saying, Willie, you should go for this job. Oh, you'd be great for this. And Willie, you're here, you're there, you're everywhere. You should just focus on one thing and do one thing well. But it's like my energy flow is being connected in many different spaces and places. This is what makes me thrive and have good energy. I'm going to say it is my thing. It's the thing that I do love doing. And I think I even spoke to you, Greg. It's like, but I feel like I don't want to do one thing. I really do enjoy being connected. I love coaching the little young 3 to 5 year olds that I coach with one of the kindies locally. I like being involved with the rugby club. I like being involved with the college. I like working with the elderly. I love that diversity in the work that I do because it challenges me to be adaptive. It keeps me moving. I'm not stuck in one high performance rugby team. I really do enjoy that diversity. So, but going back to giving, I also give in different spaces, whether it's charities, on the board for a local organisation as well that helps families on the coast. With the rugby club, I'm on their junior committee. And it's like, Willie, you're just everywhere. You got to slow down. And sometimes I do, yes, I do catch myself out where I've overcooked myself, and my community connections do realise that too. But it's like there's something about being involved in communities and giving some way. And sometimes I don't give as much energy as I could or should because I am everywhere. But that power of giving, I just feel so good about what I do. I get to wake up in the morning, I get to look at myself in the mirror, and I get to be proud of who I am and what I'm doing by giving in our community. And the rest just sort of naturally falls into place. So, are you able to give us any insights or understand where I'm coming from and put that into some sort of logical form and space?
It actually comes into my favourite thing, the disc system, where there's the 4 different personalities. And you're obviously a people person. You're the person. I think I don't know if I've mentioned it before about the party where the people come together, and you're the person that likes to get everybody together, hold hands and jump into the pond and make a lot of noise at the same time. That's you who you are. And that's, we need that person in your life, in our lives and in community. That's where you absolutely shine, because people need people like you, especially in the fitness. Having the health and fitness. This is what is so great with having you around and helping people to understand that fitness and get onto the same level. And that's the real. That's who you are. There's other people that are a lot quieter that would. I'm actually personally, I'm a bit of both. I don't mind getting in amongst the people and that, but to be honest, I'm really more of a quieter person, believe it or not. To anybody that really knows me would say not likely, but it is. I enjoy my own space.
Yeah.
Right. I'm the sort of person that can quite easily sit in the corner and just sit there and just observe. But if somebody needs help, I don't mind. I'll be there. But but there's all different personalities. Then you've got the other person they want structure. They don't want to move all around. They don't want to meet all the different. They'll go to one. They've got one venture that they go to, and they'll be great in that. They could be a great leader in that part, and they'll organise it, and they'll want fine detail in that area. So that's another type of personality. And then you've got the dominant type of person is saying, let's get this happen. They're the screamers and yellers and stamping on the floor saying, let's just do it. Let's do it. They're the guy or the girl that just walks straight over to that swimming pool and says, we're going for a swim. Don't worry, he's already in, swimming laps and back out again. I've had him a swim. They do it. They move quick, you know. So and they want action. They're action takers. They want it to happen and happen now. So these are different people, and they're all in community. You know, every single one. Now it's not that we dominate in all of them. You know, there's in one specific one. It could be, you know, I think if they look at the statistics, it's only like about 1 or 2% that are really high dominant in one area. Those 4 different personalities, but we've all got a little bit of each, and that's why in a community you know you shine. You shine because you like that part, and you like your organised part as well. All right.
Yeah, I'm just trying to think. I'm not that organised as a person in general, but I like to have organised people around me. I like to have them in my life. I've got my wife in my life who's very organised as well. And I guess, yeah, everyone does have different qualities, different levels of certain things, and you might be a bit of ambidextrous and use a bit of this and that, like you say, but it's, yeah, mine's definitely that. But in a community, we need a bit of everything as well. If they're all just like me, we'd have a lot of hype in the room, but probably not getting a lot done.
Yeah.
So I do think that's where community is a great thing, because you have all these different, what do you call it, like a disc system of different types of stereotypes in the room, or no, what's the word I'm trying to look for there?
Yeah, no, there's just the different personalities. You know, they're 4. I like to use the 4 and keep it pretty simple.
Yeah.
But you say you aren't in structure, but you actually are, because I know damn well you put you on a you know, get down and start on the beach and do exercises and that. You have a strong structure on how that has to be done.
Yeah, I guess I don't know how that come along, to be honest, and I don't know if that's been bred into me somewhere. Could be coming from my dad, but I do like to just get up early each morning. I like to get out on that beach each morning, or just get out walking, and then I'm in the water most mornings as well, swimming, depending on tides and all that kind of stuff. But it's just having, I guess, those sort of simple morning routines, and that's why we've got that morning program, Win the Morning, Win the Day, because we're just small daily habits. And my first thing since I was 15 years old, I'll get up in the morning, have my 2 glasses of water, and then I'll have my hot lemon and ginger after that, so I'm getting good fluids into me that are flushing out the digestive system, etc. I won't go too much detail. And before I have my cup of coffee, or my little shot of coffee of whatever that looks like. But I do have set little routines, and I guess that's become my own little routines of being organised, like you're saying, even though I'm not that organised in my daily routines or my jobs or my community involvements. But yeah, I guess I that's the first time I feel very special that I'm actually organised in my life, I guess.
So the other thing is, what you're talking there too is actually morning ritual. And when it comes to mindset, see how you just went through that ritual of what you do, and it's physical, and what the food, and making sure that you put in the right vitamins and whatever into your system and that. But you also, one thing you've got to realise that people keep well away from, unfortunately, and that is a morning mindset ritual. Even if it's reading a book, even if it's a book of, you know, that's helped me, like Think and Grow Rich by Napoleon Hill.
Yeah. Listening to a podcast like this.
Yeah, the book, yeah, absolutely. A book I just got was The Art of Acting, which is a book about how to actually. It's a fantastic lady who was teaching acting in the States, in Hollywood, and that type of thing. But you'd wonder what that has to do with mindset. But the actual is, it comes down to your self-image. If you want to change your self-image, you have to learn to be that new person. So when you're in that community, if you're finding it a little bit hard out there, you need to find out, you know, who you need to be, what type of person you need to be, and that comes back to mindset. So you actually have to really, really reprogram it. Now, I before I got into this stuff, I used to hear a lot of people say, "You don't change who you are. You're born to be like that. You just, you know, don't let anybody turn you away from that." But if you're not getting the results you want, and if you're not living the life that you want, and if your health isn't the way that you want it, you've got to start looking at making changes. And you've heard that. Your doctor would say that. Your physical person would say that. Everybody will say that to you. You have to change ways. And that means changing the program.
Yeah.
right? And the program is that mental program. And the only way you're going to do that is constant spaced repetition, which means then you've got to keep constantly reminding yourself of this new person. So each morning you're going to have to do a ritual. Go through, whether it's affirmations, whether it's visualizations, whether it's reading, whether it's study. All these type of things are exactly the same things that you're talking about. What you do, you have your drink, you make sure you have your walk, you get up early. Mindset's the same. You've got to put a bit of time to the side to start your day of saying, well, okay, plan your day. What sort of a day do I want? Do I want to have a fantastic day today? Well, if you're going to do that, you need to be listening to some pretty interesting, fantastic information that is going to inspire you to know that you can be that person. Because a lot of people, unfortunately, it's the old saying, you wake up on the wrong side of the bed. Means you're not going to, you know, what happened today? I had a really terrible day. Why was that? Oh, I woke up on the wrong side of the bed. What they meant is they got out of bed, they didn't feel right from the beginning. They needed to right there do what your ritual is, which you will not compromise, is go for your walk, drink your juice, do your things that you know you need to do. But if you're going to start your day, you also got to make sure your mindset is, you've got to go through that same ritual. And it's got to be, you've got to spend at least 15 to half an hour doing that. I spend an hour every morning doing it. Never used to. No. Never used to.
Yeah.
But now I do. Now I know that it's valuable, because if you don't, you will wake up on the wrong side of the bed now and again.
Oh yeah, and just around community, we're saying that if you're not happy with where you are, then you've got to change. You've got to move. You've got to get into another environment. Maybe it's changing communities. Maybe it's changing groups. Maybe it's joining a walk club like we do every Tuesday morning, or maybe it's joining a touch team where you're committed to that touch team each week, where you're in a group of people. Maybe some people, it's not even about the exercise, but it's just being in that space that's clear in the head. You're outside, you're moving. It could be a knitting group. It could be, I'm just trying to think of different types of communities that are out there, whether it's playing a sport, whether it's just walking, whether it's gardening. Something that keeps you in a healthy mindset, gets the body moving, potentially outdoors or in nature of some sort. I think these are great types just to hit so many different positive things in our lives that we know that it makes us feel good afterwards. It's hard to just get out the door and go and do it. But if we do make commitments and join a committee, join a crew, join a team, join a club, join a sport, just the benefits of that community and what it can do, and it just keeps you alive, keeps you moving, because we can easily go into our little hermit life, sit in our shell, go to work, do that for the day, pick up our kids, go home, sit at home, we'll have dinner, we'll watch a bit of TV at night. And that's our lives, where if you have a bit of purpose, and that we did speak about purpose last week, or goal setting, and we're going to make this another one at some stage around the purpose. But that purpose of community and getting into those healthy environments, I think that is a very key thing for, if no one's happy, if someone's not happy with where they are right now, potentially look at a new environment, a new community, a new committee of some sort. Yeah, let us go on that one there, Greg.
It's also what you're really talking about again is state change. We're changing your state of mind. When you get amongst the community, you're with a different energy, and it's straight away. You mightn't be feeling that great when you're at home by yourself, but when you actually, like you talk about, your early morning walks. Now, when somebody comes to that morning, they don't feel like getting out of bed. They're getting there, but actually when they arrive there, and then get walking with you and start talking about something, and then change the whole state of mind.
Yeah.
And then all of a sudden they look, when they finish at the end of the day, what do they say when they've finished the walk, and even you've done it for an hour, like, wow, this is unreal. Normally you'd most probably, people would be asleep at that time.
Yep.
And they wake up to the day of not knowing what they've done. Those walks that you get up really early in the morning, and you've already refreshed, you've started going. I'm the same. When I get up early and do study, I look at the clock, later around 8 o'clock, and so think, wow, I've learnt so much since I woke up this morning, whereas in the old days I'd just get out of bed and that would be it. I'd be off to work and have breakfast and off to work, and that would really be the way I lived my life. But yeah, it's definitely it's a state change, and when you're in community, you're in a whole lot of different people in different states, and that's what makes it so good. And then like you say, with what you do, help a lot of the youth and that are having a hard time. That's what they need. They need to get out of their heads sometimes. Their mindset about what's going on and what's rolling around inside that head is it needs to be communicating with others to hear other points of views rather than that self-talk. Just keep talking and talking, because that is the one that actually does the damage. That's where you get,
little voice on the shoulder we were talking about the other week.
Yeah.
Yeah, because with those youth groups, one of the colleges that I'm working with the youth in the morning, it's natural. They turn up. It's very early. Oh, how's it going, boys? Oh yeah, I'm tired. It's our natural default. It's our natural setting. We sort of it's early in the morning, so we're just going to say I'm tired. And it's like, are you really tired, or are you just? I know it's early, and it's like, oh yeah, I guess so. But the fact that within half an hour, we do a little bit of mindset work together. We're just chatting. It's just general chat. But there's the mindset stuff that's going on in there. And that's thanks to a lot of the stuff that you've already taught me over these years. But it's amazing just by putting them into that space, get them talking, get them thinking differently. Then we go and play some sport. We might play touch rugby in the morning. It might be into the gymnasium or into the weights room, I should say. And just getting their bodies moving. And then we come back in to have breakfast. And what a way. They've already thought about something, they've already got the body moving, and now they're having something healthy to start their day. That's a win the morning, win the day action right there. And before you know it, it's 8:30, and their school starts at 8:50. They're leaving me at 8:30 in the morning, and they've just already had a massive win in their day already. They've had the right mindset, they've had some activity, some sport, and then they've taken some healthy food that's going into them to give them the good energy for the day. And it's all about energy, like we're saying. They've just set up their day and their system to have a better day in their life.
The great thing too, in that, what you've really done is you've pattern interrupted. You've interrupted a pattern. When you've got them to go to do it, if they weren't there, they would have stayed in their pattern of thinking, the way that they were thinking, whatever that would be. And unfortunately, for some of the people that are going through a tough time, sometimes it's not good thinking, and it's not a good place to stay. No. And there's never been good results in staying in that place. So with you breaking that state, you've taken that state out. When you get them to do these things, then they have to be thinking about something else. They have to be thinking about where they're going, they're running, the weight they're lifting. And then all of a sudden, it all of a sudden kicks in that they're with somebody else, and there may be a bit of competitive, and then they all of a sudden they've forgotten about the spot that they were in before. The dark moments that we're thinking about that really we're getting them into trouble, because they are lost. They're at a stage they don't really know who they are. This is what I'll always go back to, because when I found out who I was, I realised that's the answer. When you find out who you are, the purpose, and then find out the purpose of why you're here, that changes everything. But at a young age, in a teenage, it's a confusing time, because you're virtually taking control of the handles. And sometimes you don't know what to actually do with them. You've got things going on that never happened when a few years before. Mum and dad or your guardian were doing it all for you. But then you've come to this time in life, all of a sudden body changes, things are changing, ideas are changing. And it can be a lost bridge over from child to adult. There's that bridge, and there's a gap there that we can fall off, and we can fall down the holes, and this is what happens. And if it's not around, the paradigm comes from the belief system is in that first 7 years of our life. If there hasn't been some sort of a loving responsibility guidance in that time, there's a possibility that you're going to fall into that gap when it comes to that bridge between adult. And it's really going to be the path of, are they going to be, what sort of adults they're going to be? It's going to be on the positive or the negative. Which way are they going to go? Well, if the upbringing was around a negative influence, when they're in this gap now, that's the most confusing time, because now they're getting some power, their body's building, they're getting muscles, so now they can fight back. I remember at that stage, my life was when I fought the most with my father.
Yeah.
Because it was head clashing times, and a little bit
Testosterone.
absolutely. Yeah. The funny thing is I do remember what I said there before. Is I do remember my father saying to me one time about who I was, and I says to him, "I'm just like you." And I never forget the look on his face. He wasn't really pleased at all, because what I was doing wasn't making him happy. So, I never realised at the time what I was just being a bit smarty towards him at the time. But when I realise it now, that was exactly what was going on.
Yeah.
You know, I was become self-reliant. I become very judgmental on myself, and realising I wanted to do things my way. And he was Dad wanting to do things his way, which he had already done with me, but now things were changing. Yeah. So it became a bit of a tough time. So what was all that? It was just our attitudes and how we thought about each other, how we were thinking through that.
And with that, you were saying about the first 7 years, it does really shape pretty much who we are, our belief system. With that though, for those that have gone through some troubled youth, or those first 7 years were not nurturing and weren't supportive, they just didn't have that support, it's still a choice though, and that can be reprogrammed, like you said. So for someone that's had that 0 to 7 years, they've had potentially a tough upbringing, and what's the easiest way for them, or the best way we should say, for them to be able to, because I see that we've just come up to 30 minutes now, so we'll try to wrap it up, but what's a quick win for people that might not have had much support in their first 7 years? Do you have like a quick little tip that can help them to get into a different vibration, or to be able to make that choice to get into a better environment, to get that better support and reprogramming? Obviously yourself.
So it is the program. You got to realise it is the program. If you buy a computer, it's just a computer. Then you've got to buy Windows or Apple or whatever you got to do. You got to put a program in there.
Okay.
Now you're talking about the first 7 years. That's when the program comes into us as humans. A very influenced program. If it's not there, well, we've got an issue. Now that's where exactly what you're saying right there is. They don't understand what's going on. They haven't had that love and support. There's one thing that I would totally encourage anybody in the world and any person in that situation to realise: you have unlimited potential. You have unlimited potential. Right at the moment, you don't know that because nobody's encouraged you into that.
Yeah.
And sometimes the only way that you can get attention is to get negative attention, because it's easier to do a negative attention than it is to do a positive. There's no doubt about that. Anybody can be negative and get big attention. And that's what happens with these people. So they want attention. You say they want to be noticed. So what do? The easiest thing is take the easy road, which is the negative way. So, and now why is that? Is because they don't think anybody's listening to them. They don't believe in themselves, and they don't believe in anybody around them. So you've got to really understand is when there is a way, and you can improve, but you've got to understand you have got the ability. Don't worry about whatever you feel right at the moment. You have definitely got the ability, and what I'd strongly recommend is talk to people like Willie, and get involved with them and get to believe in yourself, and then start growing. And then, like I says, with me, with the mindset, once you understand who you are, that's the main thing. Understand who you are. You're just here. You're having an experience. You're just a spiritual being having a human experience, and this is your journey. This is your journey, and your journey can be whatever you choose.
Yeah, I love that. And there's so much gold nuggets in this here, Greg. I just want to say a massive thank you for today. I'm feeling a bit thirsty now, so if there's any sponsors out there that want to sponsor us some good health drinks, or a nice good coffee, or some beautiful water, clear purified water, that would be great, just to keep us chatting, or have a nice little coffee on the side. But just another good week, Greg. I look forward to our mastermind group that we'll be at next Tuesday. And anything you want to say on a sign off, or we're all good from there?
just believe it's all good. You know, I mean, you've got it. Everybody has got this potential. I don't care who you are. You have got this potential. You'll always hear me say this. I never used to, but definitely more I learned about the mind. When you learn about yourself, you realise you've got unbelievable potential, and it's sitting there waiting for you. So let's go.
Yeah, massive thanks, Greg, and we'll catch up next week and share this podcast around, and we'll try to get this out to as many people as we can, because at the end of the day, it's looking after our communities, our people. And when I say our communities, the community could be as wide as this world can be. So let's get it out there, and let's look after each other and get more healthy, happy people. Have a great day, team, and thanks, Greg.
Yeah, thanks, Willie.
Cheers, mate.
See you later.